today we're here in the TRAINLI same-day surgery center, and we're going to be talking about the different types of rail clamps and the pros and cons of each one of them. Now, the most common rail clamp that you get is these little slip-on rail clamps that literally are just on the end of the rails, and they very easily slip on to the rail. And sometimes that's easier said than done. You have to get these lined up just right and then kind of work the rails in, and now you have a nice connection there. These work out really well for kind of temporary installations. If you're doing a holiday setup, or you set it up inside your house for a few weeks and then you break it back down, this is a good solution for any type of temporary setup. Would not necessarily recommend them for outdoors or any type of permanent installation because they have the opportunity to get corrosion in here, expansion and contraction, and they will go ahead and loosen and fail over time. So a couple of companies came out with a type of clamp that went over these, and you could clamp them down. And all of that did was just kind of postpone the inevitable of still having problems with that. So I would recommend that you only use these in a temporary situation. But if you're going to have a permanent installation or something outside, you really need to go to a much more substantial type of rail joiner. And the next type that was fairly popular on the market for a while, they had like an Hillman clamp or a split jaw, any of those types. And what would happen is that you had a couple of screws coming in from the side, and either one solid bar or a solid bar on this side, or two individual bars. And you would apply these, attach these to your rail. Here, I'll go ahead and use this here, and they would go ahead and slide your rail in right like this, and you'd have to use a special Allen wrench driver or your own Allen wrench and tighten these up, and you would have your rail joint like that. Now, a couple of these are a pretty good clamp, but we've noticed over the years, I'd used a lot of these in our layout outside, and every season I'd have to go back and tighten these up once or twice a year, and we have a large layout, and that was quite a bit of time, and we were constantly tightening those up, and we had track power jumpers feeding at about every 50 or 75 feet. The challenge with these, of course, is it requires a special tool, and so you either have to have a little Allen driver or an Allen wrench, and of course everybody knows how much fun it is to find the right Allen wrench or your special tool that you carefully put back in your toolbox or workshop so you know you can find it again, and then it's never there. So you spend more time looking for one of these than actually doing track work. The type that TRAINLI offers, we sell many different types, but our most popular and also most economical are these rail clamps. And what's nice about these is that you can use any type of straight blade screwdriver, and the tolerances are nice enough to where you can use larger ones or smaller ones, and very easy to use. You don't have to hunt around for that special tool for those rail clamps, that special Allen wrench. The other big advantage is that unlike these, where you have to come in from the side, a lot of times you have space constraints on either side of your track, maybe a building or a rock or a plant, and so it's very difficult to come in from the side and get access to those rail clamps. Whereas here, you're coming straight down on top of them, and these things are very easy to attach. The important thing is that the straight bar goes on the inside of the rail, so it keeps this part of the rail in perfect alignment. All you do is just slide these on to about the halfway point. And what's nice is you can use any type of straight blade screwdriver. You can use a small point, a larger point. It doesn't take anything special. And we just tighten these down. And being a standard blade screwdriver, you can also put quite a bit of torque on these things, and you have a really solid clamp there. Great conductivity. Like I said, we have thousands of feet of track. We only feed power now to one location, and the trains run great, and we're running DCC, so it's important to have that really good conductivity. These rail clamps, whether you get them in brass or nickel plated, work great. And of course, we have the insulated ones as well if you need to do different sections or divisions in your railroad. The other thing that we found out in using these is once we've tightened these down, I've had them out on our layout for several years now, and they have not loosened up. These other ones, I do get them to loosen up from time to time, and there's also kind of like that magic torque that you have to have. You have to have them tight enough to go ahead and clamp the rail really good, but if you tighten them too tight, these screws will actually bend a little bit, where when you're coming straight down, I've never had a problem with these screws bending, and I never had a problem with them loosening up. And what is very nice is that whenever you're doing any type of track work, you're coming just straight down to them, unscrewing them and tightening back up. You don't have to come in from the side. The other thing on the power hookup, what's nice about these is in each batch you're included a little eye that just hooks over the screw, and if you need a power feed to your track, you just solder right onto there and you're done. Very easy to use, virtually no maintenance. They hold really well, and they work great in tight spaces. So they also come in an insulating joint, and as we mentioned, they come in our nickel plated brass and our black brass. So these are the rail clamps, and if you have any other questions, please contact us at TRAINLI. Give us a call or email us. We'd love to talk to you, and try out these clamps. You will be really happy and very pleased. They're super easy to put on, and they hold the track. Like I said, in our layout, I have several thousand feet of track, and we are only feeding the track in one spot. We no longer have to use those jumpers, and we have great connectivity all through the track when we're running DCC and controlling all of our turnout motors and our engines and rolling stock, and it's been bulletproof. We absolutely love it. So give us a call. We're happy to set you up with some of these. Thank you.